Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a fallen soldier is finally laid to rest in his very own hometown, and hundreds of veterans gathered at a conference held in one eastern Kentucky city for the very first time.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Well, good Monday morning to you again. It's 6:01 here on this Monday morning. I'm Dakota Makris. Thank you so much for waking up with us. And let's head over to Brandon for a look at your forecast. And Brandon, it's foggy, it's cold, and it's a Monday.
Yes, triple threat right there.
Triple threat, yeah.
That's exactly right. But yes, get you some coffee this morning. Get yourself steeled for the day. Grab a jacket heading out the door, and grab a jacket, Dakota, before you head out the door this morning. So just be ready for a bit of a chill in the air as we get behind that cold front. Let's take a look at our forecast this morning. We start at Corbin on the I-75 camera there. Not too bad. Heading out the door, we're going to continue to see clear skies this morning. That's why it is so cold in most areas. 36 in Jonesville, 39 in Harlan, 38 Irvin, 39 also Jacksboro, 37 in Monticello and Williamsburg, 47 in Pikeville. And look at these dew points. That's how a cold front can affect you. It can knock those way down real fast. And we are in good shape today. 68 is our average high. We're going to be 1 degree off that if we make our forecast time 67. The record 87 back on this day in 2016. Dakota.
All right, Brandon, thank you. The killing of Breonna Taylor continues to spark conversations. More than a year and a half after she was shot and killed by Louisville police, her death sparked protests. Saturday, UK's College of Law hosted its second symposium to look into the legal issues surrounding what happened. Grace Feinerman reports.
Her death and its investigation spurred protests nationwide.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Saturday morning, UK's J. David Rosenberg College of Law put the killing under a microscope, focusing on the search warrant.
The particular search warrant in this case, there's an argument that it was woefully inadequate, that it contained perjury, and that the evidence that supported the search warrant did not meet the evidentiary requirements.
Associate Professor Blanche Cook explains if police enter your home, they need a warrant meeting the standard of probable cause. Plus, she says police are constitutionally required to knock and announce themselves.
Sometimes the police knock and announce all in one motion, which doesn't give the person inside the home enough time to gather their thoughts.
Taylor was mourned nationwide. In Louisville and across the Commonwealth, it was felt deeply. Cook says it's important UK, the state's flagship institution, properly addresses it.
We serve this entire state. The vast majority of our students are residents of Kentucky. The vast majority of our students will become practitioners in Kentucky. The public of Kentucky is desperately concerned about this issue.
In Lexington, Grace Feinerman, WKYT.
Well, in a wild story out of Wolfe County, a child who fell 70 feet off a cliff at the River Gorge is mostly okay. The young boy's family came to visit the gorge from out of town Friday, but after turning their backs for a split second, the trip turned into a nightmare when the boy fell down the cliff. His father quickly worked to assess his son before calling Wolfe County Search and Rescue for help.
Miraculously, the child, was relatively unscathed. He was kind of scraped up and bruised up, but otherwise generally unhurt.
Now, officials say the boy was talkative, especially when it came to superheroes, including Wolfe County Search and Rescue. In 1943, 19-year-old Burton J McQueen left his hometown in Jackson County to fight in World War II, but little did he or his family know that'd be the last time McQueen would be here in the mountains until now. Our Alyssa Williams has the story on how a fallen hero finally made his way back home.
Just a few days shy of his 21st birthday, Private First Class Burton J McQueen was killed in combat while on a European tour. And for more than half a century, McQueen's remains were unspoken for until now.
And it was nearly 77 years before they were able to identify him, and thank God they did this July, and here we are.
Community members, military men and women, as well as McQueen's surviving family members gathered at the Veterans Memorial Park in McKee to bring PFC McQueen back home.
And even though 95% of the people here today never met him, it's still the sacrifice that he gave for this country, this state, and this county.
Although many of his family members died before knowing what happened to him, PFC McQueen's legacy still impacts the nieces, nephews, and cousins that are still here today.
I've always wanted him to be known, his story to be out there. There were things he wanted told when he came home about where he'd been and what he'd done, and now everybody knows.
After 77 years, McQueen's family can now have peace of mind, knowing he is home at last.
To bring him full circle, bring him back home again after all these years, it's just amazing.
PFC Burton J McQueen's legacy lives on in the mountains. In Jackson County, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, it marked the 78th anniversary since McQueen left home to defend his country. More than 600 vets gathered Saturday at the Appalachian Wireless Arena for the 2021 VFW Fall Conference. The conference is held annually for veterans to come together and spend time together, while also getting caught up with state VFW information such as financial status, legislation agendas, and more. This is the first time the city of Pikeville has hosted the event, and many with the VFW say the hospitality and friendliness of locals is what sets Pikeville apart from the rest.
Everybody's being real hospitable, like, you know, Eastern Kentucky is, and especially the veterans. You don't get that in other parts of the U.S. I mean, here it's comforting that veterans know that people respect what they did. You know, whatever their politics are, they respect what they did in this town.
Officials say they are excited for more events and conferences to be held in Pikeville in the future. Well, Pikeville's VFW chapter recently received a bit of a tune-up for its beloved plane. In the Pikeville Veterans Memorial Park, a T33 jet named Terry Ann received a facelift. The plane had its original markings painted, including the original serial number on the tail and the U.S. Air Force decals. Although still unfinished, the plane is a large part of the park's meaning to the veterans who visit daily. Pikeville VFW Chapter 3769 say they have more in store for Terry Ann and its bright blue cockpit.
Because it's primer, everybody's like, that looks awful. But it's going to have a mural painted on it from the guy that's doing all the paintings in town. And he's actually going to paint it to look like a pilot that's sitting in the seat. So it's going to look awesome once it's finished. It'll probably be completely finished in the spring.
Nathan Sesko says the original glass cockpit was smashed during a protest in Maryland, and that is when the plane was brought to Pikeville, which will hopefully be its final resting place. A family of 8 more Afghan refugees have arrived in Bowling Green. Allie Hennard spoke with the father of the family, who has spent the last 20 years fighting the Taliban.
We are happy because we are safe.
Another Afghan family at peace in Bowling Green, escaping the dangers of the Taliban.
Everything is good, no problem.
Father of the family, Wazir Khan Zandran, says life in Afghanistan is dangerous and difficult. He said he hid in plain sight for days before a helicopter came to rescue several of the Afghans.
First of all, we should need peace to save our children. The other thing, there's nothing. We should do something. So the life difficult over there. And now my elder brother and other brothers, they are still over there.
The family flew into Nashville Airport Thursday night from a military base in New Mexico. They've spent 38 days in the U.S. so far, but this is the first place they are able to begin their new life.
My little younger toddler child, Mirwais Khan, when he wake up last night when he was sleeping, he saw what is going on. Where are we? He was so happy. He was searching how room to room. He was searching their whole new life.
He says he and his family are happy and free of danger, which they've endured all of their lives facing the Taliban.
I think that we should work with the local people and also international community to bring pressure on the neighbors countries.
He says he will never forget the help him and his family received. Up to 200 Afghan refugees are expected to settle in Bowling Green over the coming months.
We need peace for our country. Yes.
Reporting in Bowling Green, Allie Hennard, WYMT.
All right, we'll start off this Monday a little bit on the chilly side and maybe a little bit foggy in some areas. That is not the case over on US 23 there in Norton, Southwest Virginia. Traffic moving along pretty well this morning, but it is pretty foggy in spots out there, so just take it easy. Temperatures a bit on the cooler side, 30s and 40s from 36 in Jonesville to 47 in Pikeville. And now Wise down to 37, so they're getting cooler out there. So if you're heading out, a little extra coffee is what you'll need just because it's a Monday. But max warming because it's a little chilly out there in a lot of areas. We're heading towards 67 this afternoon and are mostly sunny skies after that fog lifts this morning. The headlines for the next couple of days. Nice stretch of weather with average temperatures so we get a little closer to that 68-degree mark. But some late week rain chances thanks to a weak disturbance that'll move through on Thursday. Dakota?
A little chilly, more like a lot chilly. All right, Brennan, thank you. And thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. When we come back, the CDC releases some mask guidance in order to keep you safe as you make traveling plans this holiday season.